Hi, my name is Chen, and today I'm here with my team to talk about NicoFree, the NicoDerm prevention proposal, and why it is the perfect project for the Dallas Regional Chamber of Commerce. The problem that we're choosing to address is nicotine consumption within adolescents, particularly in the form of electronic cigarettes or e-cigarettes. According to a study done by the CDC in 2019, 31.2% of all high school students have used a tobacco product within the past 30 days. Now, one might think that a majority of that user base is due to traditional tobacco cigarettes, but in fact, traditional cigarettes only account for 5.8% of that population, whereas a staggering 27.5% have used electronic cigarettes. Now, we all know about the adverse health effects of traditional cigarettes, but not many of us know about the potential health risks of e-cigarettes. Just this January, the state of California confiscated over 10,000 tainted cartridges that were found to contain a dangerous additive attributed to over 60 deaths in the nation. Even if your cartridge isn't tainted in any way, the simple act of smoke inhalation and nicotine consumption both can lead to heart, brain, and lung issues in the future, which in turn translate to millions of healthcare costs in treatment. Now, instead of that, we believe that we can save the taxpayer these millions by using prevention rather than treatment. Now, you may be asking the question, why NicoDerm? Well, we here at NicoDerm specialize in nicotine addiction, and we believe that we possess the unique capacity to stop nicotine in its tracks right now. Now, here's David to talk more about the background of our proposal.
This chart gives us percentages of both quit attempts and successful quit attempts by smokers as an idea of how difficult it is to quit nicotine. If we average these numbers right here, smokers who successfully quit in the past year, we find that only 7% were able to quit in a given year. Nicotine receptors quickly increase with nicotine intake and can take 3 months to disappear after quitting. The reoccurring symptoms of withdrawal between cigarettes use creates a repeating cycle of nicotine cravings. Over time, this also creates a stronger addiction to nicotine. Vaping was advertised as a more appealing alternative for smokers, but instead it created a new generation of addiction. In some e-cigarettes such as Juul, a small cartridge of nicotine content can equal an entire pack of traditional cigarettes. This also allows vapors to consume more nicotine than a smoker can in a much shorter amount of time. When the FDA recently limited Juul's flavorings to menthol and tobacco, other companies quickly took advantage by creating a similar e-cigarette with more flavors. From 2016 to 2017, Juul went from selling 2.2 million devices to 16.2 million devices. From 2017 to 2018, vape nicotine use doubled in middle schools and high schools across America. This is an important chart our team found when we were deciding how to implement our proposal. We found that vape nicotine started as early as 8th grade. So without further ado, here is Alex, who will be talking about our proposal next.
This is the proposal section of Nicorette's plan. So, first, so the heart of our plan is setting up presentations at middle schools, which are the most affected in our, from our research, we have found out that those are the most affected areas. So we will be setting up presenters at these areas to prevent or curtail the usage of nicotine products, specifically e-cigarettes, to make the student body healthier, and as well to make the Dallas area a healthier place. So, we will be focused on the dangers of nicotine and its usages, as well as its usage in e-cigarettes and e-cigarette products. We will be hoping for a possible extermination of that market, but we cannot be too hopeful. As part of this plan, we will use surveys. We will write up surveys for our presenters to distribute among the student body to determine how effective these presentations are in winning over the students and helping them understand exactly what is at stake when they are using nicotine products, as well as, of course, e-cigarette products. And now for the timeline, we will use a 4-stage plan to implement this. We will visit the local schools in order to get information on the student body so that we can know when to show up, we can know when to send our presenters, and what dates and times to send our presenters, as well as how much assistance we will need in setting up the presentations at the schools. And on that note, we will be getting extra staff from the schools to help set up these presentations so that we can help present to the student body most effectively. We will also send presenters. Then at that point, we will send the presenters themselves to then, of course, present to the students about the dangers of nicotine and e-cigarette products. And after that, of course, we will be using the surveys that we constructed to determine the effectiveness of our overall plan and how we might need to adjust it in the future, or possibly going forward with it even more. Then, now we will have, of course, Zijan with the staffing portion.
Hello everyone, I will talk about staffing and budget part of our proposal. Our staff will be large enough to carry out all of our activities. It will include 1 project supervisor, 10 project staff members, and 30 student volunteers in each event. As a project director, his main responsibility is to coordinate the overall situation and make emergency response. Then, we will divide 10 employees into 3 departments, and each department will work together to improve work efficiency. There are 2 people in charge of publicity in the publicity department. The logistics department arranges 5 people to be joint responsible. Their main work content is to coordinate the allocation of funds, arrange food, clothing, lodging, and transportation, purchase materials, collect the activity feedback, and so on. 3 people are responsible for the executive department, who is mainly composed of speakers. What's more, every time we go to a school to give a speech, we will recruit 30 students volunteers from the local middle school to assist us do a good job. We will provide volunteers with special t-shirts, 3 meals a day, and certificates of excellent volunteers. We expect to conduct speech activities in 33 local middle schools. We have planned the budget cost for each event and divided into 3 categories: salary expense, administrator expense, miscellaneous expense. The department consists of a supervisor and 10 employees who are paid $400 and $2,000 respectively. If additional employees are added due to the needs of the activity, the increased employee's salary cost is calculated based on the cost of $200 per general employee. When conducting activities in a middle school, we communicate with the school's outreach organization and recruit 30 student volunteers. Also, the work of volunteers is free. We will provide volunteers with 3 meals a day and free snacks, also free t-shirt. In terms of administrative expenses, we will also pay $600 for lodging and $200 for transportation. A $1,000 meal expense is provided to all employees, also including volunteers. Other miscellaneous expenses include a lot of detailed expenses. In order to facilitate administration, we use a prepaid startup fund to carry out the activities. If the expenses are insufficient, we will report to the company after the activity. If the expenses are excessive, we will carry them over to the next activity. We expect to spend $2,000 on site leasing, site layout, and equipment leasing. We use 500 to promote our activities on campus. For each event, we will order 50 t-shirts with the logo of no e-cigarettes for $10 each, which will be given to students who support the non-use of e-cigarettes. The last 500 cost of snacks is for the benefits of all employees. You can see this is a pie chart of our budget.
Thank you, Zijuan. To summarize our budget, we will have 33 activities at the 33 middle schools in the Dallas area. Each activity will be $7,700. We have a cost error that will not exceed 10%, so our estimated total is going to be $254,100. Our total with cost error is going to be $270,510. The final cost will be determined in the summer of 2021. Next, we have Oliver, who will be concluding our proposal for you.
Before ending today's presentation, I'm going to conclude by going over some of the key points and topics discussed up to this point. The issue overview is that in today's society, the consumption of nicotine is more prevalent than it has ever been before, especially among today's youth. With the increase in consumption, there have been new methods of nicotine intake. Within the past month, 6% of high school students have used cigarettes, whereas up to 30% have used electronic cigarettes and vape pens in order to ingest nicotine. This is a key issue due to the addicting nature of nicotine and the effect it has on a developing brain. The proposal pitched by us is that NicoDerm is an outreach program that will focus on the middle school level of students in order to, as opposed to treating nicotine addiction, it will serve as a prevention technique for in order to ensure their future health. The method of each event at each middle school will consist of a public speaking presentation in which the dangers of nicotine will be described and explored, and then it will be followed by a survey in order to assess the effectiveness of each speaking event. The project goals are to spread awareness and to halt the epidemic of nicotine at the youth level. In terms of the finances, each event, which is every middle school that we will visit, the event will cost $9,200. The $9,200 covers staffing costs, covers the meal, the transportation and the lodging for the staff, and it also provides a meal for the 30 student volunteers that will be taking a part at every event. With all this in mind, the project in total will come out to cost just around $270,000, under $300,000. There are 33 middle schools in Dallas ISD, and there are 36 weeks within a school year. So NicoDerm hopes, with your financial support, be able to speak and reach out to every single middle school within our region. We thank you for listening to our presentation. These are our references, and feel free to contact us with any more questions or concerns. Thank you.